thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Caron Schreuder. I am the Managing Director of Medianett and publisher of Bridging and Commercial. It's my great pleasure to be co-presenting today's discussion with Valorem Partners, specialist recruitment firm, and thank you very much to Faye and Nick for involving me in a very interesting discussion. Our topic for today is making every hire count in the new economy. Not only does Bridging and Commercial publish essentially every hire that happens in the specialist commercial market, but we have also delved into some of the more nuanced concepts around people and recruitment, such as the skills shortage, as well as the importance of transformational and cultural change programs. So it's a topic that's very close to our hearts. Today, we'll be looking at recruitment through the lens of the GC Index, which is an organimetric tool that assesses people in a different way. It also comes with its own handy lexicon, which we'll find out all about later. Included in our panel, we have the founder of the index, who is Nathan Ott, who will be telling us a little bit more about the tool and how it can benefit you. And Faye Wilcox, co-founder of Valorem Partners, will also be explaining why Valorem has decided to adopt this methodology within their processes in a bid to raise standards in the recruitment sector. At this point, I would love to invite the panel to introduce themselves.
Good morning, good afternoon rather, everybody. I hope you're all well. I'm Faye Wilcox. I'm the co-founder of Valorem Partners, and we primarily work within the specialist finance sector.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Nathan Ott. I'm the chief polisher here at the GC Index. So we founded the research in the GC Index in 2013, launched in 2017, and I'll explain a bit more about how it's impacted business in a moment.
Hi everyone, my name is Kim McGinley and I'm the Managing Director of Vibe Finance. We are a specialist mortgage brokerage based down on the South Coast.
And hello everybody, I'm John Franklin-Hackett. I'm the Chief Game Changer and Strategist for Franklin-Hackett. We are a partner with GC Index and we help recruiters utilize the GC Index to make hires based on impact.
Thank you, everyone. This is an excellent panel that we have today. I can't wait to hear everyone's thoughts on the topic. But firstly, I want to briefly explain why we think this is a discussion worthy of now. The impact on businesses and teams as a result of the pandemic has been undoubtedly profound, and some aspects of it are said to be sustained, making it imperative that the way that we manage people is handled in a thoughtful and careful manner in the coming months. The end of furlough, mass redundancies, people returning from furlough, which in itself carries challenges, will all have an effect. Many businesses of all sizes have had to spend a lot of 2020 focusing on restructuring, taking stock, and deciding the direction in which they would like to go. Because of the fact that most of us have experienced a downturn in business at some point during all of this, there has been a collective tightening of belts across the board, and any cost associated with recruitment needs to be seen as a worthwhile investment in the overall growth of that organization. In addition to this, lockdown and the outbreak has resulted in rapidly changing values as well as new and remodeled ways of working that demands a workforce that is switched on and committed from all sides. The GC Index is all about impact and the impression that an individual can make on an organization and its objectives. Special circumstances call for a special approach, and we feel that right now this method speaks to a lot of the aforementioned broad challenges, but also some that are more specific to our sector that have been experienced in recent years, such as the shortage of available talent and the relatively high turnover. To expand a bit on these ideas, I'll now hand over to Faye.
Thank you, Caron. So yeah, as Caron's mentioned, the market has endured a huge amount of change and a really sort of challenging amount of change due to unprecedented times recently, which I think has made us all take stock of what's really important to us. I think, you know, looking at things like family and being able to spend a bit more time at home with our family and, you know, work and how we do business, you know, we've had to all all sort of reevaluate how we, we do business on a day-to-day basis. And I think never before has there been an opportunity to do things better than recently during the whole pandemic. We're extremely pleased to see how resilient the specialist finance industry has reacted really during the whole COVID crisis, and how everybody has sort of seemed to have pulled together as a bit of a community. There's been a real positive spirit about that, which has been really refreshing to see in terms of social media posts, and it seems that people have really looked out for one another, so that's been really fantastic. I think on the back of that, our health and well-being has never been so important, and our impact and contribution that we sort of add in our day-to-day work and in our communities has also never been so important. So I think it's been a really challenging time, but a real period of learning as well, and taking stock of things. As we enter the recovery period, we now have an optimum opportunity, we believe, here to improve how we hire our employees, ensuring that they are making their best and preferred impact and contribution, whilst improving their overall health and well-being. It's goes without saying, if you're doing something you love and that you enjoy, and you feel that you are genuinely adding value, you're going to be feeling at the top of your game, and you are going to be feeling really happy about what you're doing. And more productive teams are more creative teams are generally more productive, they're more successful, so it just all sort of goes hand in hand really. We've seen the employment landscape change dramatically over the past few months. In particular, Microsoft Teams and Zoom has played a really huge part in the way that we communicate with our clients and customers. Working from home has been a popular and productive way to continue to work with our clients and to run our businesses. And the relationship we've noticed between lender and broker has never been so important. It's really key, to the success of the industry, that has been an ongoing focus. And it's been great to see how well people have worked and collaborated during the pandemic. I think now more than ever, startups and SMEs in particular will need to ensure that they can align their people and teams to achieve their business goals and objectives. And in today's uncertain market, it's really crucial that we make every hire count. We're in a new world of work now, and it's really imperative that every new hire that we make will make the impact and contribution that is needed to meet those to be successful and to meet those ever-changing demands in business. We've done an extensive amount of research into the specialist finance industry and the challenges that the industry is facing right now, and probably what we look to face ahead for the future. And we wanted to be able to support the industry in providing a solution and how we could play our part in helping to solve those challenges. And fast forward several months, and Valorem Partners and our partnership with Franklin-Hackett and the GC Index partnership was born, and that's why we've launched it to the specialist finance market. In today's webinar, we're exploring how the GC Index will help you support you with every hire and making every hire count, and that's why it forms a very essential and crucial part of our process. So thank you, Caron.
Thank you, Faye. That's a great overview of where Valorem's coming from with this new approach. Right, so without further ado, Nathan, I think it's best we get you on now and to tell us exactly how it works, what it's all about, and how it came about.
Yeah, okay, I can do that. Don't worry, everyone, this is not death by PowerPoint. So just going to give you a quick overview of the GC Index. And as Faye said, it's very different. The legacy of the GC Index came from conversations with business leaders that were looking to hire different talent. This is back in 2012, 2013, and they would often sit there and you'd go through a brief from whatever structure or skills or competencies that they looked for. And at the end of it, they would just say, just get me someone who gets it. I'll know it when I see it. And so that what that meant to me is, well, what we're usually judging people on to bring them into a business is just not working for these leaders. So fast forward then from 2013 to today, the GC Index is an organometric, an organisation metric. So a lot of you will be familiar with psychometrics and personality tools, which will explain the difference. The GC Index doesn't measure that personality. It looks at how people are going to make an impact to a team, to a role, and to an organisation, and we align it to any business decision. So I'll explain how that works. You're going to make people decisions. You are leaders of a business, whatever it might be. You're making people decisions all the time. And so what do you have at your disposal when you make those decisions? Well, you look at expertise. Yeah, of course you will. Has the person got the skills? Can my CFO count? Whatever. Yeah, you're going to look at skills, expertise to make a decision. And then you've got to look at experience. Have they done this before? I take credibility that they've done this before. They've run a team before, or they've hit sales targets before, or done complex deals before, whatever. We will look at experience, and that's really valuable. And then we'll look at this wonderful world of personality. So a lot of people, leaders, will just use gut feel, their intuition, or there are thousands of personality tools out there which are helpful. They give us a piece of data about an individual, but what they don't actually do, is there's a missing piece. And talking to the business leaders, a missing piece of what impacts is this person going to make? Yeah, and that's what the GC Index is. It is not a personality tool. It is a business tool focused on how individuals best want to contribute to a business outcome. Now, I get told off for keeping things too simple, but I use a lot of sporting analogies, and I'm not even clever enough to understand rugby or cricket. I like football. It's a very simple sport. And the point is if we measure proclivity in the GC Index, so if I'm a striker, I want to impact the team by scoring goals. That's what I want to do. Yeah. Can I run? Can I kick? Yeah, I can do that. Have I been doing it for 10, 15 years? Yeah. Am I extroverted or introverted or diligent? Does it really matter? Yeah. When it comes to making an impact in that team, I want to impact the team by scoring goals. So all the GC Index is doing exactly the same thing, but at a business level. It's a starting point. Okay. People like to see that it works. Okay, so we started the research in 2013. We launched in 2017. Now over 1,300 companies, 50 countries. It resonates. Big companies, small companies, all sorts. Charities, not-for-profit, big corporations, startups, entrepreneurs. It doesn't really matter because we're looking at a fundamental human need to make an impact to business decisions. So it works. And then we look at what other industry credibility are there, because people like to look at that because they want to know that it works. And it's not just some guy here, saying that it's brilliant. Yeah. So we've also, in terms of recruitment, we are the recruitment tool of choice for the REC. So it's the UK's employment and recruitment body, being used as best practice recruitment process for 3,500 recruitment members, as well as their 550 good recruitment collective, big companies. When it comes to the world of HR, the HR director are using the GC Index to connect HR to the business. Yeah, so it's about connecting HR to the business. You'll see some people leaders and HR leaders there been running the HR director. And then from a leadership perspective, the Global Leadership magazine Dialogue actually publishes interviews from business leaders around the world, business leaders around the world. So again, if you're still thinking this is a personality test, you would not see a business leader talking about their personality profile in a business magazine. Yeah, so it really is anchoring that point. And finally, just to accentuate the point, Gartner called us up and said we're a cool vendor. That's quite nice. I was never cool at school or otherwise, so it's quite nice being a cool vendor. But again, anchors the business element of it. Okay. So what is it? So fundamentally, the GC is a high-level business model. It's the only people tool or measurement tool out there that is aligned to a high-level business model. And it is that what makes it quite easy for business executives to get their hands around very quickly when it comes to making talent decisions. So we have 5 core proclivities in the GC Index, 5 ways of making an impact. We're all elements of these, right? But at a high level, you've only got 5 things to remember. Yeah. So we have game change, individuals that want to make an impact through new ideas, new ways of doing things, possibilities. Okay. But it's all very well having people coming in with new ideas. We need those. We've just mentioned, as Faye just mentioned, we've got to do some things differently. But unless you make sense of them, unless they make business sense, unless they're aligned with stakeholders, with business plans, we can see revenue realization, whatever it might be, those crazy ideas are just going to fall away. So we have a strategist, people that want to make sense of these ideas. Now, an idea, however elegant it is, there's no point, having that if you don't get on and do with something, implement it, get it done. So otherwise it just remains an idea. So we have our implementers. Stop thinking, stop talking, get on with it. Let's get on. Let's get on and make stuff happen. And then we want to make these things as best they can be. Competitive advantage, continuously improve them, make them better, innovate on them. We have the polisher. Okay. And with that, though, we all need to work together. So the playmakers, so those individuals that actually generally bring people together, not the fluffy, emotionally intelligent or socially skilled or politically correct stuff, that's learned behavior, a genuine focus on bringing people together, whether that's in your organization, in your ecosystem, wherever. That's it. So all we're doing when you're looking at your hires or when you're looking at your people is how do they want to contribute to this? This business, high-level business model. Very simple. Business people get it very quickly. And that's it. You're aligning people. So as Faye said, it comes around people making their impact. And there's this whole world of inclusive leadership. I'm still struggling to understand how people can feel included unless their impact is genuinely valued. I'm not sure how you can be completely included. And so again, it's about understanding where people best want to make an impact in your business. They stay longer, and they start feeling masterful and potent. That's it. Very quickly, you'll get an individual view. That's nice. So you'll get that through your recruitment process, or you'll get that as an individual. It tells you revelation or validation about how someone wants to make an impact. As you'll see, you're not one or the other. It's much more nuanced than that as you get further down into it. More importantly, as business leaders, it starts getting powerful when you roll this up at a team level. That's where it starts really getting powerful. Your leadership team, project team, sales team level. How is this team going to approach what we need them to do? Probably now with your cursory understanding of the GC index, you might already be making assumptions about what this team might be good at, what they might not be so good at. That's the accessibility of it. Not for today, but we roll it through all organizations as well for any business decision. Okay. So in closing, the GC index is used in multiple ways. Okay. It is one data input. It's data. It's business data. It has multiple applications and you get that at one cost. So you might use that for a recruitment. You might use that for a team piece or an individual development piece, but it can be used. And what we see with organizations when they start using the power of the GC index as a framework of impact, business impact for their people, they start using it across all business decisions. So that's fun what the GC index is. I'm hoping, Caron, that's on time.
Done very well, Nathan. Thank you. I have a follow-up question for you. The specialist finance market is notoriously competitive. How would the utilization and adoption of the index feed into a competitive edge for somebody operating in this sector?
Yeah, well, there are a number of ways there. Firstly, I think if you're going to be competitive to an organisation, again, back to sport, if you're going to be a competitive sports team, success is in the margins. So if you're going to be doing something that everyone else is doing, I'm not quite sure how you're going to gain competitive advantage. So you're going to have to try something different, firstly. Secondly, however, it's in that experience, and the experience that you get with aligning expectations, so with the individual, makes for a much better and stickier and competitive recruitment process. So when you're looking for a role, it often is, you often talk a list of ingredients, it's kind of, but really with this framework, you can go, what do you want this person to come and do? Do you want to come to get some stuff done? Do stuff well, join stuff together, do something differently, really basic language. And then you can go, right, we just want someone to get some stuff done. You're someone who wants to get some stuff done. We're aligned. Great. And it's much more, if you're looking at paucity of talent, having that differentiated approach to the candidate, just pulls them in a lot quicker because expectations are met much easier on both sides. Yeah, does that help?
Yes, thank you. I had the benefit of going through the process myself, which I will say was one of the highlights of my lockdown period, mainly because I think it did feed into, it felt like a motivating factor to be analysed in this way, which had more of a sort of leaning towards one's impact. It is truly a unique lens through which to kind of assess oneself. Coming back to Faye's point about health and well-being at the moment, in particular, and the importance of people feeling like they matter in amongst all this flux where businesses are changing and teams are changing, where do you think that the index could particularly assist in getting people feeling better about their work and themselves?
Yeah, so we do a huge well-being piece, and John Franklin-Hackett might want to comment on that because he's far more intelligent than I am around this space. But the point being is that we want to be potent, yeah, and people don't want to be impotent, you know, in a work sense, yeah. And the GC index helps people to be potent. Again, a football analogy, yeah. Now, if I am a striker, yeah, for example, and my work is demanding me to play in defence, can I do it? Yeah, I can do it. I can play in defence. Yeah, but after 2 or 3 games, 4 games, I'm going to start to get a little bit drained and bored and annoyed, and it's starting to affect my mentality. It's the same with work. If you are a game changer, with someone with game changer proclivity, where you want freedom, expression, new things, so, but your work is just do. It's really going to start to affect your well-being, your mental health, and stop you being potent. So what we're looking for the GC index is understand where your energy is, ensure as best you can. I mean, of course, it's never an ideal, but as best you can, have work that pushes your energy. Yeah, you want to run towards, not work that you want to run away from, and that's where the GC index helps, and that all then feeds into your own mental state. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. I love the idea of that potency reference. People are maybe feeling a bit vulnerable right now, so that's a good one to bring up.
In my opinion, yeah, people get out of bed in the morning, yeah, to be potent at work. Yeah, that's what they want to do. They don't wake up in the morning and go, I want to be really rubbish today. They don't do that. Yeah. So the point is how do we best give them a piece of data? It's one piece of data to help them do that. That's it. Yeah.
I've just set a number of people's mantras for the rest of the year. John, do you want to add anything to that aspect of the health and well-being facet?
Well, I think Nathan captured it pretty thoroughly, but there's probably one small thing I'd add on to it, which is on a day-to-day basis in anybody's business, the level to which you are rewarding individuals for the impact they're making and showing them an actual tangible result of the impact they're making is really important. I mean, if we go back 40 years to where you had lots and lots of people in manual jobs, let's say, I don't know, where I come from, the Black Country, most people worked for the local steelworks, and when a huge iron girder went down the main road on the back of a lorry, most people in the street had a hand in making it. There was a tangible result for what they did, and therefore people knew what their impact was, which gave them a sense of purpose. And that was constantly rewarded on a day-to-day basis. And of course, when those industries went away, you could see the effect it had on people, and you could see the amount of passion that people had for what they did. So if within your business, it doesn't matter how big it is, it could be 2 people, it could be 20 people, it could be 2,000, 2 million, whatever it is. If you have people in roles that allow them to get that sense of purpose every day, and you assist them in knowing that they're achieving their purpose in terms of how you line manage them, you're going to have a team that are going to just love what they do, and they're going to want to do it all over again tomorrow for you. So what Nathan's saying is massively, massively important.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, John. Okay, so onto our live test subject that we have here. Kim, you've also gone through the process, or you've undertaken the index, if you like. What were your impressions of the experience? How did it go? I know that we do have to look forward to a mini analysis from John. But before that, if you could just give us sort of your thoughts on how it went.
Yeah, completely. So spent some time with John going through and it's almost like not a counselling session, but it felt a little bit like being analysed in that way. Was actually really fun though. I loved it. It made me understand myself so much better. And already since doing it, I've been implementing little changes because the impact of my team, and when you're leading, it's actually really interesting to kind of take a step back, and because now I know a little bit more about the stronger elements of the GC index, which I'm sure John will discuss in a little bit. But already, yeah, I'm implementing like changes with it. So it's had a really, really good impact, and not only just analysing how you are in the work environment, but also taking that kind of home with you in your home life as well. So yeah, no, it was really interesting. Good.
I couldn't agree more with your sentiments. I felt exactly the same way, from the therapeutic aspect all the way through to the fact that it filtered into different areas of my life, which I wasn't quite expecting. So John, what did you make of Kim and her results?
So I think just to set some context up for the benefit of those that are watching this. So Kim, you own your own specialist finance business, don't you? And I think you've also got another business that you're just starting to ramp up now. Mm-hmm. So the impact that Kim personally makes is really important in terms of what she's done in her life, in terms of the fact that she's set up businesses and how she's gone about setting those businesses up and what those businesses look like. Kim, do you mind if we share your profile on screen? So for the benefit of everybody watching, this is Kim's GC Index profile. If I just ask one of the other panelists to give me a nod that that's displaying. Yeah, excellent. So Kim, we score everything from 1 to 10. So all the different GC Index proclivities, the higher the score, the more intense the energy. Kim's main energies are around game changer and polisher. And then she also has some supporting energies, we'd probably call it, around strategist and playmaker. So Kim's in the creative space, attention to detail, and then execution of the right kind of plans and strategies by working through her team and her partners. So first, before we get into any kind of analysis, Kim, what was your take on this view of what you do?
Before we actually saw the results for this, and you were talking me through the game changer, the strategist, already I kind of knew what side I'd be on. Yeah. So there weren't any surprises for me actually when I actually saw this.
Great. So taking this into a bit of kind of the analysis, thinking about your business and how you lead your business, how would you say that your profile, your energies here have influenced the way you've developed your business?
Yeah, so for anyone that knows me, when I get an idea in my head, I almost become obsessive with it and I just go with it. I'm not an overthinker. I just I channel everything into implementing that idea. And then the polisher side is actually really funny because I am obsessively like all over, doing it to the best of my abilities. And my team will tell you this as well. Like, so I won't ever settle for average. If we're providing a service, it has to be the best. And, so for that side of things, I think that's probably why Vibe is the way it is on the specialist brokerage side, because yeah, that's probably why I am so obsessed about, doing things the right way. I can't ever do it and know that it's only like a job half done. So yeah.
And it's interesting because when I was looking at your business, Kim, before we spoke, and I think I said this to you on the call, it was really obvious. Looking at the website, the way the Vibe brand is presented is very creative and very vibrant. But not only that, there was an execution, a quality of execution of everything on the website, through the graphics, through how things were worded, that really spoke to that attention to detail that comes from your leadership energy. So it was very much a physical manifestation of your creative thinking and your attention to detail in terms of how that creative thinking is executed. I urge anybody to go and have a look at the Vibe website, and you will probably see what I saw. Where does the polisher kick in for you, Kim, in terms of how's that pushed forward the growth of Vibe?
I just think it's just in the day-to-day, you know, when we have our morning meetings as a team, we always talk about, you know, what we can do better and things like that. So it's just probably one of the key areas that it's been built on, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, in a way, it's made me look at it a bit more, because I think from reading my profile, it can be overbearing sometimes, trying to get that perfection and what you kind of expect from people. So it's also making me kind of take stock of how I can be with the team as well.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And thinking about the 2 fours that you've got there for strategist and playmaker, it's interesting because one of the things that we see on these profiles is, as Nathan said, it's not just as simple as you are in one of these boxes. It's quite a lot more complex. If somebody had, if let's just say Kim had these energies here, but had very little energy in these 2 spaces, you might be looking at a very different type of leadership and different outcomes from a business perspective. So with your profile, Kim, you've clearly got some energy to get into the planning and the understanding patterns and trends when you need to, and you've also got the energy to go and grab groups of people, and as Nathan was saying, build those relationships between them so they can work together to execute on your vision. So what would be an example of where you've done that in the past in the business, where you've kind of brought these energies in to support your vision?
I think it would just be the whole team element. You know, when we get together, I try and get everyone together as much as we can, but obviously they're very self-sufficient, but I think that's where the strategist maybe comes in and the playmaker side of it. I'm sure you're going to talk about the implementer in a bit, so I'll talk about that in a minute. What I think.
Well, actually, yeah.
Can I ask a question? Do you mind? Sorry, Kim. We've only met literally briefly, and I've just seen it. Yeah. Quite a personal. Tell me to shush and be quiet if it's too much. We're going live, but are you quite demanding at times? Yourself and your staff. Yeah. Have you had that feedback?
Feedback from what staff?
Yeah.
I just know I am.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
I don't think people need to tell me, but I am, unfortunately. Which
I presume is part of your success, right? Is that?
Maybe, but then I guess from doing this, it's just making me take stock.
Yeah.
It was such a good benefit from doing this kind of the index. So
I'm not going to I'll let John speak. I think it's really, really important, because you're going to talk about the implementer. What I think people really must understand is that a high score is not necessarily a strength, and a low score necessarily a weakness. So a low score can be a strength as well as a weakness. A high score can be a strength as well as a weakness. And I think I can talk a bit more about that if it's useful. But you mentioned the implementer score, Kim, just then, so I'll let John carry on. Sorry for interrupting. I had to ask that question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's all good, Nathan. So actually, let's tackle the implementer score. So, and like Nathan says, let's not perceive this as a weakness. It isn't. It's just where your energies are. So how have you? So the implementer score would imply that you don't have huge amount of energy to get tasks done, but you've executed a business and it's a successful business. So where have you looked in terms of getting stuff done in order to, because I sense, Kim, that your natural energy is on having a vision and polishing that vision and making sure that everything is in place to execute on that vision as well as possible. It's not necessarily in day-to-day operations. So how have you managed to find other people with the energy to fill that gap in?
If I'm honest with you, because I've never even come across this kind of this way of kind of analysing. Had I done, and it's also now I want to implement it with the team so that I do understand that, because until now, you get given a CV, you meet someone for, an hour, and then you make a really key business decision to take someone on. And it's not until now that I see this area that I really want to do it for the team as well. But I think why this is low for me, I don't like the same tasks, doing the same thing day in, day out. I do it because I have to, and I'm a business owner, and if it doesn't get done, then I won't have a business. So it's not from wanting to do it. I don't get joy from doing that. I love being spontaneous and just kind of doing all the creative stuff, which makes this, make so much more sense to me. But this is why using this tool for future recruitment is absolutely key, especially for someone like me where I don't like so much of the implementation, and also probably why I set up a business in the first place, because I was in jobs which was doing the same thing day in, day out, and that's obviously why, because of the game changer side of me so strong, running a business is something that is probably good for me.
Absolutely. And I think just picking up on something you said about the recruitment elements of it, Kim, you must have somehow intuitively known that you needed people who could get things done to support you, because, as we say, that the success of your business speaks for itself. I wonder if in your case that came from your energy in the polisher space, that you're looking for the very best possible outcomes with everything you do. Maybe that meant you were able to see that you needed those people, even if perhaps you didn't go looking for people like that. That in your case, you naturally did that.
Yeah, maybe.
But I suppose it exposes the risk, which is that if you don't know this about yourself and about your existing team, then you are slightly at a disadvantage, or you're at a significant disadvantage in terms of building that team up to be as successful as it possibly can be. Because, like you were saying, Kim, you now know that this isn't an area where you're going to get much satisfaction spending your time. So if you were scaling the business up, you would need to have more people who've got that energy level in there. And so you might be more inclined to go looking for people like that in the future, as opposed to it happening by chance.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, not just thinking of the implementer, but just to finish off, because I'm conscious of time, when you do come to hire more people into Vibe, what sort of impact package are you going to be looking for from people?
I mean, you don't want, you can't, no one is the same anyway. You don't want a team that is full of like one-sided, if we're looking at something like this. It has to be like a balance. And having, you could have someone come in, a team member that completely just changes the dynamics of the team. So having this balance is really, really important. And also, not only that, it's also for me to fully understand my team. So when changes are being implemented, which of course they will be, and the changes even personally that we've all gone through this year, how might that person take that change, and how you can change the way that I would approach certain things. So yeah, I don't know, it would just be having more of a balance, which is why I think having it for the team is just so important. Yeah,
because then you'd know kind of what does your current package of impact in the team look like, and what might you need to take you up to the next level, and what might you need to maintain where you are now, indeed.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate you offering yourself up for scrutiny on a live webinar like this. So thank you. And it was a pleasure to review you too. It was a great conversation. So thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks very much, both of you. It's very, very interesting. to see that play out almost in real time. I've got a couple of questions either for Nathan or John. One's actually come through from somebody who's watching. So I'll read it out and then you can let us know what you think. So the question is, how many staff do you need for this to be effective? Is there a sweet spot? And how much data do you need to gather insight? For example, time-wise, how is it practically implemented? I presume this person is talking about more of like a company-wide approach. Nathan? Yeah,
well, as John says, we work with startups with the founder looking for their first hire or their first, so to the smallest company as you can get. So that's the answer to the first question, hopefully. So there's no real sweet spot. I think the sweet spot is really where you're looking for complementary relationships. Yeah. So whether that's 2 of you, 10 of you, 10,000 of you, that's important. How much data do you need to gather to get the insight? Well, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes to do. Yeah. So that's it. And so it's pretty quick, not particularly intrusive. And how is it practically implemented? Well, individuals will take the GC index. They will get a link personal to them. It's 59 questions. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. We haven't done the study yet, but my guess is implementers do it quicker. Polishers take a bit longer with strategists. We haven't done that study yet, but that'd be interesting. And then it starts at a personal level. Ryan, thank you. You'll see that come through. And then once you've got that data, that just aggregates up at the team level, business entity level, global level. So that's how it works. So hopefully that helps your question, Ryan.
Thank you. Then I have one. In our market, there's quite a vast technological evolution going on at most businesses, partially accelerated by COVID-19. Could this work on a project level as well? So in the event that someone is undertaking, let's say, a technological implementation of a vast system that requires input from all different types of people, would this index help in the materialization of that?
Well, 100%. I mean, that's exactly what it's for. I mean, so if you take it back a step, what you're looking at here, if you're going to work with someone for a year, 2 years, you'll get to know how you both work. I don't mean how you both like each other, like you both like a drink on a Friday, or you support the same football team, or you both got boys or girls or cats or whatever. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. But you actually get an understanding of how you actually work together. Yeah, he doesn't do all that detail rubbish, and she's always coming up with radical ideas, that sort of stuff. All this does is gives you that understanding straight away. Yeah, within minutes. Yeah. And that's the productivity gain. So yes, we've got big clients that have that are putting agile teams together quickly, literally for a week, then they burst out again. And it's how do you get them to understand each other very quickly? That's the point. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a big strategist, so I'm not particularly coherent. So I always say, does that make sense at the end of things? Because that's just learning for me.
I think it does. Thank you. I think that's something that a lot of the industry would find of interest right now. There's a lot of change happening.
I mean, I could add something if it's helpful for the audience. John, are you able to flash up Kim's profile again quickly? And let's just take it out of context for a second. Let's assume that Kim is a Michelin star chef, right? And let's just assume that Kim is going to set up her own restaurant. Yeah, because she wants to go and do that. Like she set up her own business. Now, Kim's going to want to have this restaurant where it's breaking the boundaries of food, it's new stuff, it's new quality, game changer. She's going to want to make sure it's excellent and great service and clean tablecloths and whatever it might be, polisher. That's where she wants to make her impact. She gets her energy. The tool and implementer doesn't mean she's no good at the washing up. She could be amazing at the washing up. She could be brilliant at it. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that's where she wants to be. Yeah. So, and she might do it on a Tuesday if she needs to, because someone's called in sick or whatever, and she might do it on a Thursday, but that's not where she wants to be. And I think that's really important when you're having your conversation, because you might have a candidate like this that you like because they're good skills, you've got the right personality, they've got the right experience. And then you see this data and you're going to go, oh, a lot of the work we want you to do is quite get some stuff done. Are you okay with that? Yeah. Can we find some anchors with this? We really like you, but this might be something that you might not enjoy about the role. How can we work through that? And that's kind of how the data is used, if that makes sense. It's having that conversation, knowing this extra piece of data. So that's, again, it's understand that relationship very quickly about making an impact. Yeah.
Thanks, Nathan. I think it is ideal that it marries up where people's energies and proclivities lie with what the business needs to have this outcome, which I haven't seen it exercised anywhere as yet, but I do hope that there is a wider adoption and we can see some success off the back of that. Are there any comments further? Kim, is there anything that you would like to add about your experience? I know that you've been given the run through it with John, but is there anything else you'd like to add, perhaps maybe with the rest of the industry in mind, some of your peers and the way in which this community runs now, that you think this could be of benefit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like Nathan said, it's not even just applicable to one, specific industry. For our industry itself, like we've said about the relationships between brokers and lenders is so vital, and it's so key to be using something like this. And like, Faye said, it's almost coming out of this, this recovery period. You want to have an edge, you want to be maybe a bit different, and it's also having the ability to accept change. So just because recruitment's always been done a certain way, it's having that change of mindset to implement something different and use something unique like this. I think it's a great tool.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kim. Is there anything that you would like to add to that, John?
Yeah, I think it would be good just to capture some of the specifics about how this would work if somebody's hiring somebody into a team, because one of the things, and we've touched on this a few times, one of the things that you can do if you know the impact of your current team is to think about what kind of impact you need for the role that you're hiring to. So let's say you've decided you want to scale up the business, you need someone to come in as a head of business development to manage your existing team of 5 people who are in charge of sales, so you can start to scale it up a bit. Then you could very early on start to think about what kind of impact is going to get us the outcome that we want. So if the outcome that we want is to take what we're doing now and grow it so that more clients have access to it, maybe we need somebody with strategist in their impact. Maybe we also need them to have some implementer in there because they're going to have to do some selling too. Maybe they also need some energy for playmaker because they're going to need to orchestrate the existing team of 5 to work well together against the plan for how we're selling. So you can have these kind of conversations, and then you can engage with an organization, Valorem in this case, to go and look for people using the right advertising technique and what have you to lure people in who think like that, to then profile them to check that that's how they think. And then you can start to ask some really good questions at interview to find out, okay, great, you want to make this impact. What's your experience to date then? What skills have you built either through professional experience or through your life experience that you can use to support your impact? So that when you then make that hire, you know they're going to deliver what you need, but also they're going to be happy, picking up on what we were saying earlier about well-being, they're going to be happy doing that for you. One of the other things you can also do then at the point at which you then have them join the team is you can then think about how you line manage them in such a way that they're going to get a reward for what they're doing early in their experience of working with you. So you can think about what tasks do I give them that are going to engage them in their impact? How can I get them to see a tangible result at the end of the first sort of 3 weeks of working with me, so that they feel like they're making a difference quickly? Those kinds of things. So that's something that Valorem can help you to do. But it's worth thinking about it. You've seen the model on the screen. I'm sure we'll circulate some information. It's worth thinking in those terms in general anyway. It's a really good way of thinking about how to build a team.
Thanks very much, John. Appreciate that. Nathan, we've just got a follow-up question here around the data and the matching up of that data with applicable people and how a recruitment specialist might come in. Do you want to maybe start that answer?
Yeah, of course. So firstly, You're absolutely right. There's two things. One is the GC index is just data. That's what it is. Yeah. And at the end of the day. And secondly, we are a partner-focused organisation. So the specialists are our partners. Yeah. And we have a broad range of partners, you know, Valorem being one of those. So in to answer the question with the data, so we map that data to performance data. You can map that data against account data, you know, sales performance data, whatever it might be. It just interjects into that piece of data. When it comes to recruitment, and sort of people like Valorem, I'll let Faye sort of pick up, it's how do we best use this bit of data, an important bit of data, to ensure your business remains competitive, yeah, with other data you have, with our services, with our solutions, whatever it might be. And is that right, Faye, from your side?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, it's really key, again, you know, making every hire count in the current market. Never before have we needed to ensure that, you know, we're safeguarding any investment on any new hire, and that new hire is going to be, you know, absolutely executing what they need to do in order to be successful in their position and to meet the ever-changing demands of business that we're all facing. So, yeah, absolutely. That's why it's such an essential part of our process, and we're delighted to be bringing it to the specialist finance industry.
Yeah, I mean, just so people are aware of the GC index is a big beast. It's got 150 partners around the world, but you've spotted this early, Faye, when it comes to your specialist finance market. I mean, you're the first recruitment firm bringing this to this sector, and very much leading the way there. Again, that's the forward-thinking nature of your business, because you see opportunities, of course, like other industries have seen.
Yeah, well, that's the game changer in me, see. And the polisher as well. I'm a little bit like him, game changer, polisher.
Excellent, good stuff. Good to hear. We're in good company. That's great. But yeah, so again, I think it is. You definitely see those possibilities, and I know a number of your clients are already benefiting from that competitive edge that you're bringing them. So yeah, great. And again, anything we can do to help drive competitiveness for your clients, we're there to support you. So that's what we're here for.
That's great. And I think, you know, obviously Kim and Caron have experienced the GC index, but we're having some amazing feedback at the moment from clients, particularly clients who are, you know, in this current climate are looking to grow. You know, it's such key information. It's really, really helping them strategize their business and with their growth plans. So it's been fabulous what we've had so far. On that note, I'd like to just add, actually, Franklin-Hackett have kindly allowed us the opportunity to offer a gift link. So for those that have attended today's webinar and would like to take the GC index, that will also include a 60-minute review consultation. It is going to be for a limited number of people within our industry. So if you value the opportunity to complete the GC index and get your report and receive the exclusive insight, then please do get in touch with me. Send me an email. It's Faye@Valorem Partners altogether.co.uk. It's Faye with an E, Faye @ValoremPartners.co.uk. Please note, this is going to be for a limited time, so if you are interested, do get in touch ASAP. Thank you.
So I think that sort of almost wraps us up. I'd like to thank everyone on the panel for being involved. Faye, thank you very much for organising this. John, thank you for your insights and for the excellent analysis portion of today. Kim, thank you so much for sharing your results. It's quite brave of you. And to Nathan, thank you for giving us such a succinct and clear explanation about what the index is all about. I, for one, would thoroughly recommend taking advantage of that generous gift link offer. It is an experience. It's something that I think everyone needs to go through, especially at this point in time. I don't think, at least not in my lifetime, it's ever been more important to really focus on the investment in recruitment and your people, because ultimately they're the foundation of the future of your business. So thank you very much to everyone who has tuned in live. We will also be making this available for you to watch at a later date, but you can catch up. But yeah, that brings us to a close. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Caron, just before we finish, I'd just like to add, sorry, for those obviously who haven't been able to attend, but there will be a recording of this webinar today, as Caron said. Our new website is being launched today, so we're very excited to launch that to the specialist finance industry. There's going to be a significant amount of information on there regarding the GC Index. There's a couple of great videos, including Nathan and Dr. GC. So please do take advantage and go and look at the website, check it out, and yeah, there's lots of info on there.